With its more than 47,000 farms and over 9 million acres of farmland, Florida helps feed the nation and the world. On any given day, somewhere in Florida, a farmer is preparing a field, planting or tending a crop, or harvesting a yield. But for most people, this is where they think their food comes from, their local grocery store. Few give much thought to what it takes to bring this bounty from the field to the market and ultimately to their table. Florida's $120 billion agriculture industry depends on an efficient, fair, and reliable system that links farmers to consumers. An infrastructure that effectively involves all the participants in between: packers, processors, suppliers, wholesalers, brokers, shippers, buyers. The vast network that makes up this complex marketplace. For over 80 years, this has been the role of Florida's state farmers markets. The idea of providing a marketplace for farmers in Florida was conceived in 1934 by Florida Commissioner of Agriculture Nathan Mayo. During the Great Depression, federal relief agencies were searching for worthy projects to spur employment. Determined to create jobs for Floridians, Commissioner Mayo envisioned marketplaces built next to railways and highways that would help ship agricultural products throughout the nation. The first constructed was the Sanford State Farmers Market, which was dedicated on December 18, 1934, and was the prototype of the wholesale shipping point market. It served as a commerce center where auctioneers oversaw the buying and selling of local and out-of-state produce, livestock, and other commodities. The Sanford market was so successful that it led to the demand for more markets, especially in Florida's large agricultural production regions. Other markets were constructed, and by the 1960s, Florida's state farmers market system peaked at more than 30 markets. Their success led agricultural marketing authorities in other states to pattern their own facilities after Florida's markets. As Florida's demographics changed and agricultural lands gave way to development, many markets, including the original Sanford facility, closed. Today, Florida's agriculture industry is served by 12 state farmers markets, stretching from the Panhandle to the Southern Peninsula. Gadsden, Suwannee Valley, Stark, Palatka, Trenton, Plant City, Wauchula, Fort Pierce, Fort Myers, Immokalee, Pompano, and Florida City. Together, these markets are responsible for moving $800 million in wholesale value of Florida agricultural products annually. Operated by the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, state farmers markets provide producers across the state a marketing platform to conduct commerce, thus helping sustain thousands of jobs for local communities. Some markets, like Florida City, operate year-round, while others, like Palatka and Trenton, are more seasonal due to the nature of the crops produced. Almost all of the state farmers markets have some characteristics of the wholesale shipping point market. Some, like Suwannee Valley and Pompano, serve more as redistribution markets, where prepackaged goods are brought in and sorted for shipping to supermarkets across the country. All the state farmers markets are self-sustaining, meaning that the revenue from tenant leases pays for the market's operation. The market tenants are involved in a variety of businesses. Some tenants operate restaurants on the market grounds, serving meals prepared with local produce. Retail stores at Wauchula and Stark sell agricultural equipment, clothing, seed, and feed for livestock in support of local farmers. Located near the Gulf Coast, the Fort Myers State Farmers Market leases warehouses where commercial fishermen unload their daily catch, while an adjacent seafood market cooks meals for the local community. Just next door, open-air retailers sell fresh fruit and vegetables grown in nearby farms. Consolidators in Plant City gather various produce from local farms to quickly fill orders from major grocery chains across the country. Markets in Florida City, Pompano, and Quincy work with the nonprofit group Farm Share to deliver fresh produce to local food banks. Operating since 1940, the Fort Pierce State Farmers Market is home to perhaps the most diverse collection of tenants. Mushrooms are grown in large, temperature-controlled rooms and later picked, packaged, refrigerated, and shipped to restaurants and grocery stores in South Florida. Cucumbers are pickled in an adjacent production facility. Here, the small cucumbers move along conveyor belts to be cleaned, cut, and diced. After soaking in a trade secret juice, buckets of pickles are stored in giant on-site coolers until ready to be shipped. These pickles are distributed all across Florida, supplying hundreds of restaurants, grocery stores, the state's largest theme park, and even cruise lines. The warehouses at Fort Pierce all have freight accessibility, allowing tenants to ship out products right from the loading docks. Fresh Co. Limited operates a bottling plant year-round, where various flavors of Indian River Select juices are filled at a rate of 120 bottles per minute. On-site inspectors ensure that food safety regulations are met, allowing the popular juices to be shipped domestically and abroad. Bimbo's Bakery redistributes large quantities of prepackaged baked goods from companies like Great Value, Thomas, Intimates, Sara Lee, and many others. Products are organized by the order and loaded onto freight trucks for distribution across South Florida. The Pompano State Farmers Market is an example of a modern-day redistribution market. Conveniently located near I-95 and Florida's Turnpike, the Pompano Market has always been ideal for shipping and distribution. Produce grown in the prolific agricultural regions of Central and South Florida is brought to the market pre-packaged and ready to be shipped to supermarkets across the country. The Pompano Market has been a major produce handling hub dating back to 1939. Once known as the American Stock Exchange of Produce, it featured a wooden shipping platform over 1,000 feet long that was arguably the largest at the time. While the wooden platform has been replaced by a concrete dock, Pompano's role as a redistribution point is as important as ever as it moves products around the clock during season.
Okay, today we'll be working Zooks, Atom mediums, I'll have some fancies.
Freight brokers and produce brokers lease the majority of the available office space at the Immokalee State Farmers Market. Produce brokers buy and sell the crops brought in by harvesters. The freight brokers handle the distribution, deciding the routes specific pallets of fruit and vegetables will take to redistribution or wholesale receivers. Since 1951, the Immokalee Market has been an important shipper of early season watermelons and a large packer and shipper of tomatoes. Truck weighing scales are utilized for the enormous amounts of produce that move through the market. Weighing over 10,000 trucks annually, the scales are an important service to the industry and a major source of income for the market. Since opening its doors in 1939, Plant City has served as a place for farmers to sell agricultural commodities such as livestock, fruit and vegetables, and equipment. While Plant City ships out its share of tomatoes, watermelons, bell peppers, squash, eggplant, and gourmet fruits, Florida strawberries continue to be its premier product. Local farmers still grow their berries in nearby fields, where they are picked, boxed, and transported to the market, where they are cooled and shipped at the peak of freshness. A major state farmers market is Florida City. Operating year-round, it handles thousands of pounds of fresh produce each day. Everything from yellow squash to green beans, zucchini to wax beans are grown in the surrounding farmlands, harvested and delivered to the market to be processed. Like many other state farmers markets, Florida City has facilities to wash, sort, and package large volumes of produce. Baths and conveyor belts are used to move the produce past workers who inspect, sort, box, and store the items until they are ready for distribution. The Florida City Market has its roots in the late 1930s, when 20 acres of land was donated to the state for a state farmers market. In April 1940, 2 buildings were constructed on the property, and the Florida City Market was born, making it the southernmost market in the United States. It soon gained a reputation as America's winter salad bowl because of its abundance of squash, tomatoes, and beans harvested during the winter season. But on August 24th, 1992, it almost came to an end when Hurricane Andrew devastated much of South Florida and destroyed the Florida City Market. South Florida's economy had been dealt a severe blow, and America's fall and winter domestic produce harvest was in jeopardy. Recognizing the dire situation, the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services committed to rebuild the crucial market within 90 days to meet the start of harvest season. Local farmers, although skeptical that this promise could be delivered, held up their end of the deal by replanting their crops. The department immediately set out to do the improbable. It cut through red tape, hired additional personnel, and rebuilt around the clock. The Florida City Farmers Market reopened for business on November 13, 1992, only 70 days after being wiped out by Andrew. That year, crop harvests were at an all-time high, and Florida City was back on its feet, stronger than ever. Today, the Florida City Market has 14 buildings and moves millions of pounds of fruit and vegetables each year. Steeped in history and tradition, Florida's state farmers markets have evolved with the times to better serve the needs of the agriculture industry and the tastes of the consuming public.
Thank you.
It all started with an idea focused on creating jobs, growing an industry, and feeding people. And after more than 80 years, Florida's state farmers markets continue to meet and exceed those goals.